Hello, I come to you today from Denver Botanic Gardens, where I'm representing all of my co-authors from Denver Botanic Gardens and Betty Ford Alpine Gardens up in Vail, Colorado. We are all plant professionals at public gardens within Colorado, and we work very locally where we have this amazing landscape with lots of beautiful plants, and we work very hard to document, protect, conserve, and grow these plants from Colorado within our professional setting. However, we like to really take on the saying of think globally, act locally. And so we like to take all of the work that we're doing within Colorado and present it through a global lens. And the global strategy for plant conservation really gives us a framework for how to do that. So all the work that we do locally, documenting and conserving and studying plants in Colorado, can be set within the larger framework and work towards the implementation of the goals of the global strategy for plant conservation. Beyond that global level, we can actually focus in on the North American Botanic Garden strategy for plant conservation, which takes a botanic garden approach to a continental scale for plant conservation. So the work we do within Colorado can also feed into the implementation of that strategy. Here, what we've done is we've narrowed it down even further to focus explicitly on the Alpine. And we have now published the 2020 North American Botanic Garden Strategy for Alpine Plant Conservation. Why focus on the Alpine? We know that the Alpine habitat or biome occupies only about 15% of our terrestrial land mass, and in North America, it's only actually about 9%. Within the context of our strategy, we've actually defined it pretty narrowly, focusing on those treeless regions at the upper reaches of the mountains. And this is so that we can really narrow in on these habitats for protection. Why are we worrying about the Alpine? Well, we all know that through the IPCC and other big organizations that there's a lot of threats. Climate change is a real threat to our Alpine habitats. We know that these climates are getting warmer. We know that they're getting drier. We know that these zones are sort of shifting up in elevation and also shifting poleward. So we really want to work together to understand and study and conserve the largest amount of Alpine habitat and the plants within that we can. So within our Alpine strategy, we have 4 objectives and 12 targets, and we've created them really mirroring the North American and global strategies, but really focusing on making our targets approachable for any partner who wants to engage. We want to really understand and document Alpine plant diversity in those habitats. We want to conserve those plants and habitats, and this is where partnerships are really important. We need to work in partnership, hand in hand with the land managers and the landowners. We want to conserve plants out in the wild, as well as back within our public gardens and in seed banks for future protection needs. We want to promote awareness of the Alpine habitat. Being public gardens, we are the perfect venue to connect people with plants in a meaningful way, and we want to really promote Alpine habitats through our public garden platforms. And we want to build capacity. We want to increase the number of trained professionals at all levels, whether it be interns, graduate students, seasonal staff, full-time staff. And we want to establish and strengthen our networks and partnerships. So we need to continue to build those partnerships as we're working towards implementation of this strategy. This strategy was really started by Nicola Ripley, my counterpart at the Betty Ford Alpine Gardens, when she was the president of the APGA board, and she was working very closely with the U.S. Forest Service, as well as the Center for Plant Conservation and some Canadian gardens. And we at Denver Botanic Gardens came in and we worked together to then distill down the partnership to really focus on the publication and development of the strategy itself. So we started off with a pretty small funnel, and we're now inviting others to join us in our Alpine plant conservation. So what have we achieved to date? Well, we have actually published the strategy. It is available for download on the Betty Ford Alpine Garden website, and we've begun to do a lot of field work. We are working out across Colorado, collecting plants for our natural history collections, documenting them and making seed collections, and then learning how to grow those plants both within our gardens and then outside our gardens. And we invite you to join us in helping to implement this strategy. If you're interested in how to replicate this type of framework for an ecosystem that you care about, please reach out. Or if you want to join us in the Alpine Strategy, please reach out and we'd be happy to partner with you.